Daytona DMAX 2018 just keeps getting better. We're ready for the heavy enduro, and it is going to be one heck of a battle with the top 7 covered by less than half a second. And it's the comeback kid on pole position, Chris.
Yeah, Jamie Pender took pole position and he's with us alongside us. Jamie, good to have you back. Pole position, I guess you're going to aim to win.
I hope so. You don't put it on pole and not try and win, but it's going to be a tough ask. Tomek out there, a few of the other boys, tight times. It's going to be a good race.
Nick, first round of the 2018 season and straight in as the leading super heavy. That's not bad.
First ever championship round as well. That's the first one I've ever done and got pole and super heavy. That's pretty awesome, to be fair. And
you're racing in a lot of other championships across the UK, so this is going to be a real test of what you can do up against some of the best in the UK.
Yeah, now I'm really testing myself, to be honest with you. I've done a lot of other things. I did 2 24 hours here, so now I'm really testing myself.
So what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge going into that first corner?
Traffic and understanding how everyone races, to be honest. I've not done a rolling start before either, so that's going to be interesting. I've always done standing starts, so I just need something I need to learn very quickly.
An interesting chat we're just having there. You're coming back to racing after 20 years, is it?
Yeah, 20 years, just try and get back into it again. Yeah.
What's brought you back?
Fun.
But you've had a pretty good start, 5th place. Have you been here doing some testing, or has it all come as a bit of a surprise to you?
2 weeks ago I was here and it was wet. This is the first time in the dry this season, the DMAX. So yeah, see how it goes in the race.
You're going to be the one to watch this year. Thanks for coming along. Best of luck for the race. Jake, I think we're pretty in good shape for this one.
We are, but there's one man we haven't discussed yet, and that's Tomek Zaustowicz on the front row of the grid. Reigning champion. He will want to get straight into this one and get back up to the front as soon as possible. Do you think he can do it?
I don't know. It's going to be very close. It's unpredictable, isn't it? Like we've had so far already.
Absolutely. And with the top 7 covered by 0.4 of a second, nearly half a second, I genuinely don't know who we'll talk to later. Time for the battle to get underway in the Heavy Enduro Championship in Daytona DMAX with Jamie Pender starting from the front of the grid. Not many people expected him to be on pole position straight away out of the blocks, but he has done just that. Tomek Zaustowicz lining up with him on the front row of the grid. Battle is definitely going to be rapid between these two. Rob Bennett has been put to the back end of the starting grid. From the second row of the grid, a time penalty has been added to his position. So we didn't hear about that. So now Rob Bennett will be finding himself right down at the back of the grid in 32nd place. That is a big shock. So we'll go through it again now. Pender and Zaustowicz from Whitney and Sean Campbell, Pritchard and Almu, Allen and Nakar, Sienko and James Taylor rounding out the top 10. So Nick Rowland and Vinod Hirani on the 6th row of the grid from Peter Hayes and Advet Deodar. Vince Cogswell and Richard Newton, Toby Whiffen and Damien Holmes, Richard Sterler and Mark Ford, Gary Martin, Mark Sterler, Darren Hughes, Paul Crucci, Will Swinburne, Dale Thomas, Adam Moore, James and Andrew Sterler, the Sterler family very much in essence here this weekend. From Eamon Carson, Connor Reynolds, and now, as we know, Rob Bennett, way down at the back, Chris. That is not the way he wanted this to go. I think 2018 could be a real out for the championship as basically hitting the reset button and doing it all over again. The drivers are getting up to speed now. Pender and Zaustowicz at the front. Green flag, and away we go. Good start from Pender. Zaustowicz is going to keep it round the outside. Whitney's trying to come through and take the position. Pritchard. He's blocking him, and he's through. So Zaustowicz holds on to 2nd place. Pritchard's making a good start too. Up there with Sean Campbell.
Yeah, Pritchard trying to go around the inside of Sean Campbell, and Campbell, I think, left the door open there and allowed Tarek Almu to go through to 4th place. So Almu up to 4th. Pritchard now has to the outside of him, I think that might be Richard Allen trying to make a place, and I can see James Taylor making a move as well. He's now behind Alex Pritchard, but the 3 leaders are right together as they head down the hill for the first time.
No problems at the leading 3. Sean Campbell already getting himself stuck in as he battles away with the likes of Alex Pritchard and Tarek Almu. Adam Nakar will want to start his season off with a bang. He was in the top 4 last year. He missed a few rounds of the championship. I have a feeling he would have been in the top 3 had he stayed for the whole campaign. 100%. Up the inside, Zaustowicz is already having a look at Pender. Pender drifts wide. Zaustowicz trying to come through already.
And Sean Campbell there made a move for 4th place, and contact going into turn 10. Made a move into turn 9. ran wide and then almost ran straight into the side of, and that's James Taylor at the inside.
3 or 4 of them going wide. Pritchard,
sorry, yeah.
Pritchard runs wide off the runoff area, but Pender leads from Zaustowicz and Witney. Almu in 4th from Campbell, Taylor, Allen, Pritchard, Makar, Sienko, Vinod Hirani and Nick Rowland still up there as the leading super heavy.
And that is Zaustowicz having to
under pressure from Witney.
Yeah, Lee Witney looks to the outside. Of course, Lee Witney picked up his first win at Clay Pigeon last year. And Lee Witney now looking to the outside of Tomek.
I think Witney wants the title this year. He knows he can win now. He knows how to beat Tomek Zaustowicz, and got a bit of a gap back to Tarek Almu. They're going to try and battle away.
Saw Sienko losing a place to Nakar there.
I have to
we've
say,
got a top 5 getting closer and closer.
I have to say, this is a great start to the season for Tarek Almu. This is the most strong and confident. Witney goes for Zaustowicz and gets him through up to turn 7, and he's through, no problem. So Lee Witney has well and truly got him sorted. And that was a beautiful move, plenty of conviction as he dived out of 6, up the hill, up the crest, and made the move stick. Absolutely amazing.
I thought Tomek may have been fighting back there. So they come in towards turn number 10. This now for the 5th time, and Tarek Almu gets closer. The gap last time was 2 seconds. That looks about half now.
It really does. Now behind Sean Campbell, the battle for 6 positions really kicking on between Alex Pritchard and James Taylor. And they are having a good scrap.
And they've come together once already in this race.
Yes, indeed. So Pritchard trying to race away.
Pritchard, you know, what was the stat that he put out on Facebook recently?
Yeah,
to us.
Well, he said something very, very brief in his bio as he makes the move up the inside.
Move, yeah.
He said, I have found my feet, I'm going to win in 2018. That's all he said.
And then he said, you could mention that as long as I'm not in 20th.
Yeah, well, he's definitely a lot higher than that and doing a great job about it.
And Taylor versus Pritchard is still kicking off as they're coming towards the last corner. James Taylor has retook that place, runs wide out the last corner into turn 1. James Taylor remains in that position, but getting closer behind them is Richard Allen. Richard Allen closing in by half a second on the last lap.
Lee Witney definitely looks to have a little bit more confidence coming into 2018. We got an off! We got an off at 10, and that is in the top end of the field this time.
And we've got Pritchard, as we can see there, made a move going into turn 6. Good move that from Pritchard. That's a replay there as he went past James Taylor.
It's Richard Newton. Richard Newton in the super heavies was the one who dropped down the order. They start just pushing away from Zaustowicz, knowing that Zaustowicz can't be as strong on his own. The two of them work together, they'll get a good gap, and then they can battle for the last 10 minutes, as Chris Hackworth and Chris Alcock did in the previous race.
Well, I think he's going to go straight back past them. They're side by side, coming in towards turn number 9. Lee Witney to the outside of Pender. Must have got a really good run out of turn 8 as they head now up towards the last corner. Pender's not going to defend all the way, is he?
He's certainly defending at the moment. Jamie Pender, welcome back to DMAX. I hope you didn't think it was going to be easy.
I'll tell you what, if he defends until Tomek catches up, then he's got a chance of getting a bit of a break. So, you know what? They've got to be careful of Tarek Almu as well in 4th place, but Jamie Pender defending might not actually be a bad tactic, even at this stage of the race.
So he's got to try and take on Nick Rowland, Advert Deodar and Vinod Hirani in one fell swoop as they come off of turn 6. Rowland, the leading kart in the queue, is the leading super heavy in the contest, looking to make his first ever Daytona DMAX debut to turn it into a victory. That would be amazing if he could get the job done. The man more famous for his work in sim racing rather than proper karting. And he is having a great battle, and he's already having a bit of a charge there. In fact, he's let Rob Bennett go through, and who's gone through with him? Bennett charging past both of them. Bennett sliding around all over the place trying to make his moves felt as they've got past Nick Rowland and Blaise Sienko. I think that must be Advert Deodar who's gone through as well. Oh, no, sorry. Vinod Hirani who has let him go. It's Advert Deodar who has got through into 11th position. Rob Bennett now to 12th, with Nick Rowland and Vinod Hirani just watching and keeping an eye on things, with Peter Hayes only 0.8 of a second behind them now as well. But this is not a bad run from Advert Deodar as well. He's coming to this championship. I believe it's the first time for him as well in 2018.
I believe so,
and he has done a great job there as well.
Now look at the leaders. They're approaching 2 back markers here, and I think we might see a gap extend. Or
you look at Zaustowicz. Zaustowicz is right on the back of Witney. He has chipped away at that gap, big style, and he is practically right on the tail end of the man in second position. Oh, that was close.
Yeah.
That marker very nearly compromised Zaustowicz, big style.
Well, he nearly compromised himself by going straight into the barrier.
Well, Tarek Almu's not far away from this either now, so this could be a four-way scrap, because Almu's in there as well, don't forget, in the 7.
Oh no, but Almu's being really heavily delayed here. He's on the outside. He's got 2 drivers battling ahead.
Oh,
and he's only got the middle of them.
middle of them. Oh, I tell you what, if Tarek Almu's had an on board of that one, he'd be replaying that to his grandkids for decades. That is such a sweet move. Straight up the middle of both of the back markers. My goodness. Mika Hakkinen, eat your heart out. That was sweet.
Good stuff there from Tarek. Hasn't gained him any places, but it's potentially kept him in the fight for the lead. Something's happened to Tomek. He's dropped back from the leaders.
Tomek has dropped back.
But he's dropped back, so he's been delayed down at turn 8, I imagine.
Well, Witney has been given another opportunity to go for Pender as a result of that as well. So Pender hasn't come through the traffic quite as well as Lee Witney, and Witney is now right on the back of Jamie Pender. Up to 2. Zaustowicz has still got them in his sights, though, and that's all the motivation he will need to move further forward. Pender, again, just doing enough to keep Lee Witney at bay for the moment. He doesn't have to panic too much at this stage. Rob Bennett, meanwhile, has caught up with Blaise Sienko.
And we've had a change for 5th place. Sean Campbell has just been passed by Alex Pritchard.
Yeah, Pritchard did make the move there. We've got yellow flags down at 6. We've got yellow flags at 6. Very ferociously waved there at 6 and at 7. So I think we've had an off down at 8. We've got reds. We've got reds going. Red flag. The race has been red flagged. So we have finished our red flag procedure. We are now getting back into the race for a shorter period of time to get to the checkered flag. And the drivers will start in the positions they were in when the red flag fell. So basically, all of the drivers, minus Toby Whiffin, the 14, who was involved in that incident. We've got Pender and Witney at the front, Zaustowicz and Almu on the second row, Pritchard and Sean Campbell, Allen and Taylor, Nakar and Sienko, Bennett and Deodar, Rowland and Hirani, Hayes, Cogswell, Richard Sturler, Gary Martin, Mark Sturler, Richard Newton, Darren Hughes and Andrew Sturler, Mark Ford, Dale Thomas, Will Swinburne, Paul Critchie, Eamon Carson, James Sturler, the final of the 4 Sturlers, and then Damien Holmes and Adam Moore. We should also have Connor Reynolds in the mix as well in kart number 30 as the green flag flies and we're racing again. So now it's up to Tomek Zaustowicz, who gets onto the back of Lee Witney to start moving his way further forward, and we will continue to battle, and it's going to be interesting now that Zaustowicz has got a chance up on the inside of Witney and he's taking him straight away, and Witney's gone into the barriers. Witney's been crowded. He's been squeezed into the barriers there by Zaustowicz. Witney's chance to win has been absolutely decimated.
And Tarek Almu's gone through the second round the outside at turn 6.
Oh, Lee Witney's going to be absolutely enraged. Indeed he does. He shakes his fist in frustration. Lee Witney gunning for victory today. Squeezed out of contention there at the exit of turn 4 by Tomek Zaustowicz.
Where is Rob Bennett? He's up to 7th.
Rob Bennett's doing a great job up to 7th place.
This red flag's actually played into his hands because it's brought the field back together, of course, and all of a sudden he has a chance of a potential podium as they're still battling now, heading down towards turn number 9.
That is Pritchard. Pritchard through into P3 now as he holds off the attention there of Tarek Almu.
Yeah.
So Pritchard through into 3rd position. Almu gets him back on the undercut and short straight across to stop Pritchard coming through. And Pritchard is now going to run wide. He's going to have Sean Campbell to his left if he's not careful. Pritchard gets straight back in there. This is effectively no longer an enduro. It is now a 20-minute sprint as the racers continue on around the circuit. Just awaiting official confirmation on how much time we actually have to run. So the battle is going on strong. So basically we are going to have another 17 minutes or so to go. It will run the time until it officially will say an hour and 40 minutes on elapsed time. It's going to be the longest Daytona DMAX race in terms of elapsed time in history. The only difficulty being that we've had about an hour of it under red flags. So a real difficulty now for Lee Witney as he charges his way back. He's up to 17th position again. But this is an absolute disaster as far as Lee Witney is concerned. Look at Pender. Look at Pender. He's absolutely on his own. Zaustowicz in 2nd place. Almu in 3rd. How is Zaustowicz going to get that gap back to Jamie Pender? That's all because of that scrap in the first couple of laps of this restart with Lee Whitney and co.
Look at Campbell looking to the inside there of Pritchard. Not too sure if he was able to make the move. He
Yeah,
wasn't, but behind Rob Bennett
That's
has made a
Bennett.
place.
Bennett has got through, has he? No,
Yep.
he's going to be hassling all the way through. Bennett struggling to get
and they're
past
still
Richard
side by
Allen.
side.
They're still side by side. Allen shuts the door very firmly indeed. And look who's that on his right.
That's
Is
James
James Taylor.
Yeah.
So Taylor trying to come through. Bennett squeezed out. Taylor's got a chance to come through. And look out for Adam Nakar. Nakar's right in that mix as well. Bennett absolutely determined to stop Taylor coming through. That opens the door up for Nakar to get up on the inside line and take the place. He then has to fall back behind James Taylor. I tell you what, there's been a lot of sense of urgency here since the restart. Everybody absolutely desperate to try and move their way further forward. And there's only one man who's really got a clean break, and that is Jamie Pender. 5 seconds clear, thanks to that incident between Zaustowicz and Witney, and then the subsequent squabble that came after it. Look at Pender. He's on his own.
He was well within the fight for a podium
Taylor
place.
trying to get on the inside of Bennett. They're at 10.
Contact that was. So I think Taylor, understandably, just allowing Bennett to get the run on the exit.
Well, Lee Witney is now driving angry, of course, trying to work his way further forward. Zaustowicz is showing as down the order. Now, that is interesting. Zaustowicz, 17th. Oh, he's having a penalty.
Yeah.
They've given him a penalty for that incident between himself and Lee
surprise.
Witney. In that way,
Ooh,
Zaustowicz
who's that?
squeezed
Gone
out.
straight off.
I think that's got to be your man there, Advait Deodar, in 9th position, who's lost about 3 or 4 positions in one fell swoop there under brakes at turn 10.
He's trying to go past Adam Nakar and has got to 11th as a result.
So we've got Pender 6.3 seconds now ahead of Tarek Almu in 2nd place. Surely that's
Campbell's catching, isn't he?
Campbell is getting in there
place.
with Alex Pritchard, but
and Pritchard draws alongside, going up towards turn 6.
well, Pritchard's trying to get 2nd off Tarek Almu. Isn't that going to be the highest ever position Tarek Almu's finished in DMAX?
I think Tarek Almu's had podiums, but Alex Pritchard, I believe his best finishes are 4th.
It is a 4th place. Alex Pritchard searching for his first ever podium. Jamie Pender has not won a Daytona DMAX race for a couple of seasons now.
Yeah.
This second half has been an absolute nightmare.
Change for 3rd, Campbell up the inside of Pritchard.
Campbell makes the move on Pritchard to get into 3rd position, but this is definitely going to change things up at the front.
Just trying to see. Oh, there has been a change for 2nd. Campbell has gone through to 2nd place past Tarek Almu.
On his comeback, this is pretty sensational stuff in the comeback world of karting. Sean Campbell has gone up into 2nd.
Oh,
have you
look at
seen the
Allen.
battle between Allen and James Taylor? James Taylor going for it on Richard Allen, makes the move on the switchback at turn 10. But the man who leads the championship out of the final turn with the checkered flag flying is Jamie Pender. Pender goes from lights to flag again. And a brilliant result there in the race of 2 halves. Jamie Pender takes the victory in 2nd place. Sean Campbell, what a DMAX debut in 2nd place. Amazing, his first race in 2 decades, and he comes home in 2nd place. Tarek Almu on the podium as well in 3rd. Going into this race, that is not the top 3 you would have expected on the podium. 4th place for Rob Bennett, 5th for Alex Pritchard ahead of Richard Allen, James Taylor, Adam Nakar, Blaise Sienko, and rounding out the top 10 with a super heavy victory as well, it is Nick Rowland on his Daytona DMAX debut. Great result for him. 11th for Peter Hayes in front of Advait Deodar, Vince Cogsell, Vinod Hirani. The only man to stay on the same lap as the leaders was Richard Sturler. 16th position, Tomek Zaustowicz, dramatically given that penalty for the incident with Lee Witney. Richard Newton in 17th ahead of Gary Martin. Then it's Mark Sturler and Mark Ford rounding out the top 20 from Darren Hughes, Andrew Sturler, Will Swinburne, Eamon Carson, Damian Holmes, Adam Moore, Paul Crucci, James Sturler, Dale Thomas and Connor Reynolds. Only 2 retirements from the race. Lee Witney in a ball of fury after his many misdemeanors and problems. And then the man who didn't take up the restart of the 2nd half of the race, Toby Whiffin, who is in good hands with the medical team nearby in Milton Keynes. And hopefully we'll see him back for the next rounds of the championship. But a victory from the front for Jamie Pender, joined on the podium by Sean Campbell and Tarek Almu. I think we've just got ourselves a really interesting battle for 2018. Tarek Almu, Sean Campbell, and your race winner, Jamie Pender.
Okay, super heavy winner, Nick Rowland, and a top 10 finish. Very comfortable win in terms of super heavies, wasn't it?
It was a bit of a surprise, to be honest. My first round ever of the DMAX Championship. So yeah, it was a definite surprise to win super heavy. But I was really pleased with the top 10 in the entire class as well. That was mega.
So you're looking, hopefully, as well as picking up super heavy wins, to move into the top 10 even more throughout the season?
I'd like to. I think that's a nice aim to have, is to try and progress into that top 10, but these guys are just unbelievably quick. Even for a 20-minute sprint then, it was mad.
Good stuff. Well done on your win, on your debut as well. That's very impressive. We'll get Tarek up now and speak about third place. Of course, the red flag really changed things up. Come on. Really changed things up, didn't it? What was it like going into a 20-minute sprint effectively?
Yeah, it was quite disturbing to have the stop and then stay warm and keep the concentration. That was the key today, and I think a couple of guys made mistakes. I could bank in that.
So you basically stay out of trouble and you picked out a podium.
Exactly, stay focused. I got my best lap in the 6th, so basically it was a bit slower afterwards. But I think it was down to cooling conditions and concentration.
Well done. Third place. We'll get up Sean Campbell next. So well done to Tarek. We'll see you at round 2. Well, it's good to see you. We spoke to you before the race. Good to be speaking to you again. How was it, your first ever DMAX race?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I got into it after the red flag with a half an hour off, a little break to get back into it. It went a lot better in the second half. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously you're used to doing Super 1 back in the day. You're used to the sprint racing more, I guess. Did you feel better doing that last 20 minutes?
Yeah, but more so because I learnt the track in the first half an hour of the first race. I've only been here, well, today's the first time in the dry on the DMAX, so it was a qualifying session, was the first time out there, so it did make a difference to have time to think about it. After the red flag, yeah, it was good.
It's an amazing achievement. You're here for the season, hopefully?
Yeah, I'm booked in for the next round, so see how it goes from there.
Good stuff. We'll see you down there. Of course, you're going to have to learn the new section of PF as well, because it was slightly different 20 years ago. So well done, and we'll get our winner up, Jamie Pender. Pretty comfortable, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was a really comfortable end. Qualifying was great. The kart was good in the cold. Start of the race, started bogging down. Lee was quick, really struggled to fend him off, and I was thankful for a break.
Well, even on the restart, I guess you didn't even have any problems. You were able to get away almost immediately.
Yeah, that was the plan. Just floor it off turn 11 and just hope. But I actually did my fastest lap of the race in the last stint, so it proved that it ran quick in the dry.
And we'll see you at round 2?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Good stuff. Maybe on the top step again. Well done, Jamie. Good stuff. Jake, well, interesting race with an hour's break, effectively a 40-minute race in the end due to that incident. What was your thoughts on it?
Very surprising, not the podium we were expecting going into it, but it really does shake things up for the 2018 season. We're really excited to see what will happen at PF International for round 2. Don't forget to book your place on the grid, DaytonaMax.co.uk, and hopefully, if you do well enough, you'll talk to us ugly mugs.